Hey there, welcome to the third episode of the Just One More Rope, Just One More Project
Well,
Bag. Sorry.
it's okay. Old
It
habits
just
die hard.
rolls off the tongue after so many years.
We are the Just One More Project Bag podcast.
We
I'm
are.
Tiffany, the project bag half of this ordeal.
And I'm Dana, I guess I'm just one more.
That works.
I'll own it. I'll own it. All right. Well, I'm excited to get a chance to record today. It's Tiffany's getting ready to be traveling, so we had to go ahead and squeeze this in so it could stick with our schedule of trying to get an episode out the first week of the month. So thanks for putting up with us. I'm a little like goofy today, so I don't know how this is gonna go.
It really doesn't feel like it's already been a month. I mean, I think it was the 7th that we did it last time, so it's just shy. But I mean, still, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to believe that another month.
Well, and February is going to go like super fast. So I guess it's a good thing that we have a bunch of plans of things to work on because, next time we may not have anything finished. You never know about us.
Yeah. I go gangbusters for a while and then, like, I don't want to work on anything.
Yeah, that was me this month. So let's talk about like what you're currently working on. Cause you've got some stuff. I've got some stuff. We got stuff.
Okay, current. I have 2 current knitting projects.
Okay.
This Capricious Hat I started last week. I don't remember. Last weekend, I think it was. For my future daughter-in-law. This will be a birthday gift for her. And this is going to be really terrible lighting.
Hold it. Yeah. Either hold it really close or really far.
That's a little bit better. Okay, so it's a
color
cable
is
and lace
awesome.
hat.
Yes.
Written by Lisa K. Ross, Paper Daisy Creations. And the yarn is the Plump Sheep, and the colorway is called Minty Fresh. So it's size. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's her favorite color. So this color family is definitely, going to make her happy. But size 3 needles, fingering weight yarn. So it's taken me a little bit. I've gotten through, that's 1 chart repeat right there. And I've got 2.5 more to go. So I'll probably work on that on the road trip, definitely. I could bang it out probably by the end of the trip, I think.
That'd be fun.
So yeah, and it's the cable isn't very often in the pattern, so because that slows me down because I'm working with 2 cable needles because I never have mastered the not using a cable needle thing. So thankfully it's not that often that I encounter that. But
that baby vest I just finished would have killed you then.
Yeah,
it was cables every 4 rows through the whole thing. Yeah,
I think because this is fingering weight, it's a little bit trickier for me. If it was a thicker yarn, it may not be, but it's been a while since I'd worked cables, so I'm not minding it.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
kind of nice to go back.
And and it's cables and lace, so the fact that I get a taste of both is.
Do you have any rest rows?
Yeah, every other I believe is a rest row. But it's constantly changing.
Yeah. But I'm sure if you got off on the pattern, it looks like one of those that you'd be able to tell super fast.
Yeah.
Because you're not building the out and in with those little traveling
things. But I mean, I was able to work on it when I went in the tow truck with Michael the other day. So, I was able to keep up with everything.
Good.
And do you want to do one and then flip back to me?
Okay. Sure. Because one of mine doesn't have any picture, doesn't have the object up here. So I got back to my Ready Player One socks. And this is an absolute mess because I just pulled it out of the bag. This is the first one. I can get all the tails straightened out here. So here's the first one. And I just knit a tube. And I'll go back in and put the heel in. And I probably will use that leftovers of that mini, that Kirby Werby I got from Kirby Werby for my Schitt's Creek Advent socks.
Okay.
That blue-green, because, that isn't actually present in this sock, but I think it will look fine with it. So I think I'm going to just do that. That way I don't have to try to figure something out with picking which color I want to do it and have the heel be striped. I just didn't want the heel striped for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, so here's the second one. So I've been working on that. Last week was our last week of virtual school. So crossing fingers that that's how that ends up staying, that our numbers stay low enough. Um, so I basically cast this on and knit this much during like supervising schoolwork last week. So I feel pretty good about that much progress because there's a whole
Oh,
lot
for
of me
sure.
having to
Yeah.
look and pay attention. So anyway, got that much done, and that was exciting. I'm happy to be getting these done because I think this is what I finished at the retreat. I finished the first one at the retreat.
Wow.
So I mean, but you know me, I don't get in a hurry on socks because let's face it,
Yeah.
I have a drawer full of socks.
Yeah, they're
Not
more,
hurting
I mean,
me.
socks feel like they're at this stage, probably for both of us, is it's just more of like the process and having that easy to grab
Yeah,
content.
it's mainly purse knitting. I mean, or sitting around, don't need to have to try to think about anything complicated knitting. Um, and I don't need them now because I have so many. So it definitely is better, I think, to keep, have one just kind of on the side. But yeah, I'm not in a rush. So what's your next thing?
Okay. So what I've got next is the Coffee Talk socks. This is a pattern by Tracy. I don't remember her last name, but I think she's part of the Grocery Girls
Okay.
duo, I believe. Um, so I've had this pattern in my queue for, I don't remember, quite a long time. And so this is going to mark off one of my bingo squares of either making a pair of socks or using a pattern from my library.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm knitting them um, together. What is that word I'm
Cool.
looking for? Concurrently. There we
Synchronous
go.
knitting,
Okay.
concurrent
Yeah.
knitting. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, this is Unwind Yarn Company, 8 Maids of Milken, and I think we determined this is probably Sugared Violets on the cuff.
It's
So it's
likely.
got a, yeah, it's got a 4-row repeat just on the, down the front,
Yeah.
just real basic. So anyway, and then and then the back is not patterned, the back of
Yeah.
the leg and stuff. So I like that because it does something different to the yarn on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It breaks up that pooling because you've got that
yeah,
pattern.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that's I've been working on them, just a little here and there, and it's just like I said, 4-row repeat. So it's simple, and I think that's why it was called Coffee Talk, was because it's meant to be a social pattern that you can follow
Yeah.
when you're out to coffee, when that's a thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, so those are
Oh,
my
and
two
real quick,
knitting.
I wanted to say I'm keeping this one in my Rainstorm. I'm keeping my Ready Player One socks in my Rainstorm Studios bag. I got this a couple of years ago at the retreat when she vended. And I love this bag because I love the little plaid on the inside. She always does such a good job with her coordination
She
of
does.
fabrics.
Mhm.
So, and it's
She's really
got the,
good at that.
vinyl window. And then this bag is a new one. I don't even know if I've showed you this one.
I don't, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah,
This
you did,
is,
because I said the one looked just like Piccolo.
yeah, yeah, it does. So this is from Cottontail Farms, who was a vendor this past year, and I love how she puts the little laser scribed business tag on her
Nice.
zipper pull. So
And if
this
you're
is
in a
my,
pinch for a progress marker, like you've got
yep,
one.
you would have one exactly. Okay, good. I did not stop in the middle of a row. I've not opened this bag in a bit, so yeah. And I think I may have talked about this last time, but it wasn't in the show notes. So if I didn't, I apologize because I actually started this on Christmas. But so this is my Lead the Way. And I am in the first big section of solid. And this is a mini skein kit. And actually, the minis are all downstairs. I put them in a bag. But once you establish the color pattern, you don't have to like look it up anymore because I'll do this exact same color pattern again after I finish this gray section. And then I'll do another shorter gray section. And then I'll do, I think, 4 rows of each color. And then I'll finish with the gray. So it'll end up being about 8 feet long. It's going to be pretty big. Right now it's about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet, but I haven't knit on it in a while, like I said, but it's very happy and exciting when you're in the colors, but then I'm doing charcoal. So not happy and exciting.
Just keep your
anymore.
eyes off the yarn and just
I
do the
know.
rest of the project.
Well,
But
that's
it
the
is
one nice
beautiful.
thing. You only do a decrease. I'm not going to give away too much of the pattern because it is a paid for pattern. It is by Megan Doherty Designs. And this actually, I can show you at the top of this page. So this is what the end of it's going to do.
Okay.
So it came with alternate directions. You're still supposed to buy the pattern. This kit came from Bad Amy Knits. And I bought it with a gift certificate that was given to me by one of our sweet retreat attendees as a thank you for this past year. So anyway, this is like you buy the pattern, you buy the kit, and then she includes this alternate directions to make this particular kit work.
Okay.
Because there's more mini skein colors than the original pattern calls for, and they're smaller than the original minis. So you have to adapt. So anyway, this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done.
Yeah, that is quite long.
So it's a big piece. Apparently I like big shawls, and I cannot lie because I just blocked a great big one last night. I blocked my typhoon last night, finally, after months of pretending it didn't exist as far as the blocking. So I blocked that, and now, I'm going to have that one. I don't know how I'm going to block that one because it's going to be longer than my blocking mats. I'm going to have to block half of it at a time.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's the halfway point. Block half and then pull it off the bed and block the other half.
Right.
Who knows? Well, guess
whatever you got to do to make it work.
Exactly. But it's a fun knit, and it's a good TV watching knit. As long as because you're only working like increases and decreases on one side of the fabric, and on the other side it's just knit. So because the whole thing's in garter. So yes, highly recommend, especially if you have a crap ton of mini skeins and you want to use them up, because all you need is one full size skein of the main color, and then the rest you just need minis. So easy enough.
So maybe good for an Advent set.
Yeah, it would be. It would be really good for an Advent set. I mean, you could make it. I mean, you could change the color patterning up and have bigger blocks of the minis if you have big enough minis. But I think these were they weren't quite 20 grams. They were 10 grams each. So they're half the size of normal ones to me. So yeah. So if you add 20 gram minis, you could just follow the original pattern, and you would only need as many as it calls for. So
cool.
Worth pondering.
Right? Yeah, because I've got an Advent set I haven't done anything with yet. Okay, so my last underway is a spinning project, and I haven't really been showing this because it's been hibernating, but I did pick it back up this, since the last time we recorded, so it's worth showing now. This is Unwind Yarn Company, and this is a terrible
Wedding Orchids.
I apologize, but anyway.
I will never misidentify that one.
Yeah, it's not doing it justice at all, but trust me, it's pretty. I have a project page on Ravelry, but this is a Swirl BFL base, so I'm trying to fit it all on to my Nano bobbin. We'll see.
You and I are both. See, here's mine.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I get bored once in a while when I'm on a meeting, and I'll turn my camera off.
Okay.
And I'm muted, so I'll sit here and spin for a little bit. So I just keep mine back here on my table. So yeah, that's also me. That was just random colors on that. It was only like a 2-ounce braid, so figured it'd be ideal for a Nano. But yeah, it's hard to squish that much on a Nano.
I know. Well, I'm trying to do all 4 ounces. We'll see.
Ooh, mercy.
I know, it's nuts. It sounds nuts.
Yeah, you sound like me with that baby Cormo. People were taking bets on Instagram about whether or not I was actually going to fit all that baby Cormo on that one bobbin.
Right.
I did.
Yes. Mission accomplished.
Yes. So my last knitting project is my At Your Service dishcloth. This is one ball of some random cotton. I couldn't even tell you. It's probably on my project bag, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But it was very small. It was a small cake, not that big. And it's a gradient changing cotton. So it's going to go yellow at the very end. So it'll go back, I think, to this color. So it started there, it's going to end there. And yeah, so I've been knitting this for entirely too long, be honest. I've been knitting this since, I don't know, November. But it's very boring and it's seed stitch, which sucks the soul out of me. So I haven't been working on it very often. I basically keep it up here once more for meetings. For meetings. There's lots of meetings.
Well, if you're, distracted, maybe,
Yeah,
slightly
exactly.
distracted,
Or
then
or
it
when
helps.
my team has wind down on Wednesdays, I'll pick it up and work on it for a little bit. But yeah, it's got a nice drape to it. It's going to be really nice. And of course it's cotton, so it's going to be absorbent. So I'm going to go ahead and get through the rest of this and then I'm switching to a baby pink. And what it does is it slopes up and makes a tab that buttons so you can hang it on your like your oven door, which was kind of what I was looking for because I get tired of picking up dish towels off of the floor 24/7 because it
I
just
don't know
seems
anybody
like
that enjoys that. You're right.
no, they're irritating, and I don't like most of the store bought ones I bought because they're not good quality. So I wanted to make my own. So that's about it.
That
I,
that cotton's got a lot of shine to it. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely mercerized. It's got that sheen and it's got that silky feel. I know it's not sugar and cream. It doesn't feel like sugar and cream because it's got that grabbiness to it, but what I'm going to finish this off with is sugar and cream. So, but yeah, I like how it has like, the little fade sections. I think that's fun. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
going green
soft and
right
it's.
now.
I think
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's
it's a
pretty.
pretty color. And I do remember it wasn't very expensive, so that's a good thing. Oh, and one last thing, I don't have it up here because it's on my Susie, and I'm not carrying my Susie upstairs. But I do have a spinning project going. I'm spinning that Spin Your Own Socks kit from Yarn Hero that I got you one too.
Yes, I
So
came across mine the other day in the closet. Yep, yep.
I'm excited
Lots of
about
fun colors in there.
yes. And I'm literally spinning that thing as it comes out of the bag. I'm just grabbing a piece and spinning, grabbing a piece and spinning. So I'm excited about how it's turning out. It looks really good. I think I'm like 5 or 6 pieces in. So I have the core of the bobbin covered and that's it.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll
You
see.
should let Madeline pull some colors for you. Like
Oh
just.
gosh. She'd get all crazy about it though.
Oh,
And
she
then
would be
if it didn't
meticulous
look the
about
way,
it.
yeah, if it didn't look the way that she wanted, she'd probably get
Right.
really irritated. Yeah, she's a trip. All right, so what have you finished?
Oh boy, what have I finished? Okay. Well, I showed the baby gift the last time. I had finished the cardigan and the hat, and now I've completed the set with the booties. I
Woo!
just called these booties to match. This pattern is by Bernat, I believe, and it's called Baby Shower Booties to Knit because there's also Baby Shower Booties to crochet. I've got
Is it a free pattern or a paid
it
one?
is a free pattern. No, it's a free pattern, and they are knit flat, and then you I don't remember what all you do. I've made this pattern 3 different times, but it's a good overall booty pattern.
Yeah.
Um, it probably took me longer to do the I cord ties than to make the whole booty. But I've got notes on my project page if anyone's interested in how I do the 2 color. But I
It
think
would
it
be
just it
easy enough
set
to be
the
able to make
set
those to
off.
match anything. Like you could make them to
Yeah,
match any baby outfit you were trying
right.
to give
Yeah,
away.
yeah, you're right. Um, well, I had done a friend of mine had a baby a couple of years ago, and she and her husband both were graduates of Syracuse University. So I had done a newborn vertebrae cardigan and then the booties to match, and I had done this kind of the same color scheme, like just the edge was one color and then the ties, and pulled it all in. But anyway, just the whole set is complete now. So now that it's been shown, I'll get it all boxed up and ready for
Yay.
gifting. Yeah.
Well, my baby shower, my friend's baby shower, not my baby shower. I'm not having a baby. I don't want to start rumors. My friend's baby shower was Saturday, and because of the COVID thing and everything, it was virtual. So they had a 10 a.m. shower and a 2 p.m. shower, and I was a part of the 2 p.m. shower. And I had done the Jones. It was supposed to be a cardigan, didn't end up being a cardigan because I grossly underestimated how much time that thing was going to take because it is cabled and there are no rest rows. Because it's not just cabled, it's cabled and moss stitch.
Ooh.
So all of
It's a
your
beautiful
panels, oh, it's gorgeous. And it's probably the prettiest baby shower present I think I've ever made. And they were appropriately excited about it. And I did that. And then I bought them a whole bunch of stuff that people bought me that I thought was super weird when I had a baby, but it was the stuff I used the most. So I gave it to them and they got super excited, and I got messages from the mom and the dad after the shower was over telling me how much they loved it and were so excited about it, and they just thought it was the cutest thing ever, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And there's a picture on my project page if anybody wants to see it because it's long gone. So I was excited, but I ended up only using one skein of the yarn that I had set aside. So I have a whole other skein if I want to do something with it. But it's my DK base, but I had Katrina of Honeycomb Hills dye it in her it makes his eyes pop colorway because I wanted like a bright navy for this baby pattern.
Yeah, and I think the pairing of the pattern and the yarn together was just perfect.
It's gonna be great on a little Winston Churchill baby.
Right,
Actually, by the time he's big enough to wear that, he will not be a Winston Churchill baby. He will be a regular, cute, not squishy newborn baby. He's already measuring very big, so he may be coming to join us a little earlier than expected as it is. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens. But his mom is, I was telling Tiffany before, and his mom is itty bitty, so they're a little bit worried about what it's going to do to her if they let him go too long. So he may end up coming out a little early. But right now she's 30 weeks, and that was probably one of the more fun baby showers that I've ever been to, because they had games, and the dad is a nut. He's a friend of mine from high school, and they had games, and they had gone out and bought all of this baby stuff, and they had us do the prices right, and we had to guess how much all the baby stuff cost. And let me tell you something, it has gone up since I had a baby.
I was gonna say, I bet,
well,
when you
also
stop looking at that stuff and then all of a sudden you have to, you're like,
yeah, I was happy to retire.
How did I afford to have a child?
I know, right? Well, the thing is well, a lot of the stuff that they had, I think the grandmas had been buying, because grandmas will spend the money that moms and dads will not. Even before the moms and dads realize how much diapers cost. But like one of the grandmas bought a silicone bib and it was like $24. And I was like, what is wrong with you people?
No kidding.
Like, number one, why are you buying bibs? Because you a long way from needing a bib. You need burp cloths. You need 10,000 burp cloths. You don't need bibs right now. Not until they can hold their bottle themselves, then you get the bib, but yeah, that and like a $12 silicone baby spoon. And I'm sitting here thinking like, my gosh, I think we may have spent $12 for a pack of 6.
Yeah, precisely. Like one spoon.
I think the grandmas bought some bougie stuff is what I think happened. But yeah, like the mom and dad though, they ended up, the one thing they bought that we were all like over, they bought a pack of diapers and they spent $29 on 36 diapers. And we were all like,
were they like organic or recycled materials or whatever? No.
They were like Pampers Select, something special, some sort of special, but it didn't say the word organic on anywhere that I could see, because that was my first question is, does it have the word organic? Because if it has the word organic, you're paying for that word.
Yeah, the price.
And they were like, no, we just really liked these and other people tried them. I'm like, I hope other people buy you a whole bunch of them, because you know how long 36 diapers are going to last with a newborn? 3 days, pumpkin.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, my sweet summer child, you guys have got so much to learn. You guys will be going to the Sam's Club and getting the members mark ones like the rest of us did. Not saying that, if you want to do it and that's the hill you want to die on with spending a lot of money on baby stuff. Because I mean, if you don't breastfeed, at least you don't. I mean, if you breastfeed, at least you don't have the formula cost to deal with. You can probably afford to buy the bougie diapers, but it just cracked me up. I was like, they were like, yeah, these are $29. Most of us were guessing like $12, $14 for that package of diapers. They said 29, and everybody's mouth just goes.
Yes.
Bless them. They'll figure that out fast. But anyway, so yeah, that's the story of the baby shower. Is yours for a second kid? Is your present for a second kid?
No, it's kind of the same situation,
First baby.
Yeah, first baby, and they are she just turned 40. And I think and they haven't been married very long, and he was sick, so they thought that they better get on having a baby right away. So
yeah,
because I think what was, I was thinking that his fertility was going to decline with his treatments. So thankfully, they're moving right along. Baby's due in April, and and it's I know it's the first grandchild on her side of the family, so I'm not sure about him or not.
Oh, they're gonna be buying bougie baby diapers and baby spoons too.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited and I put up the set on Facebook, and the grandma to be liked the post, so she has no idea that it's coming to them. So yeah,
she doesn't know how many people who are reproducing right now. Know all kinds of people.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she's so used to seeing me knitting anyway that she probably just she always asks me what I'm making. What are you making now? Like, she's really interested in it. So I'm excited that, to know that it's going to a family of people that, because that's my thing whenever I've given baby gifts is please use it. Like, do not do what I did.
Don't
be
put them
afraid to use it. And, it's so precious and whatever, I'm not giving you something that, is worth gold. Like, really, just please use it. Don't insult me.
I included, I'll have to show you what I included, because I got these from Little Skein. I don't know if she still makes them or not, but they're these little handmade for you cards. And then I just wrote the washing instructions on the back, and they come with little envelopes, and I just put that inside the neck of the baby sweater and pinned it in place. And that way they would, at least the first time, remember how to take care of it. And it was funny because the dad was reading it, and he said, oh, she put washing directions in here. And he just put it back in there, and he said, I'm not going to be doing that laundry because that is precious laundry. And his wife's like, you dang straight you're not doing the precious laundry, because apparently they have other precious things that they were given to.
Right, that he's not allowed to.
Exactly. I'm sure he would be fine. He's a conscientious dude, but yeah, he was telling me this morning, he was like, so you want to knit me a giant version of that vest? I was like, nope.
No, I do not.
Took me 2 weeks. Took me 2 weeks to knit one this big. So no, I'm not knitting one for you. I was like, you can go see if you can buy one at a store. And he's like, it was funny. Okay, so what's the next thing you finished? Looks like you've been on a little bit of a spree.
I have. Well, I'll tell you that knit along that we had encouraged me to finish this thing, and that is the socks. Except I don't have the ends woven in on this one, but these are the Whiz-Bang Socks. And
Sarah
shoe.
Yeah.
And okay, so they're anatomically correct toes, which is funny to me, but this was a toe up sock, and I started this pair in October of 2015.
Is it because they're toe up? Is that what hung you up?
Toe up, size 1 needles. Really probably what mainly held me up was the fact that there was a pattern on it. I don't know, I never could memorize the pattern, and it was only 6 rows, and it's just really simple. But yeah, it was probably a variety of things. I finished the first sock though. Like, when I picked this pair back up last fall, I cast on the second one. So I don't know. Anyway,
what yarn did you use?
This is End of the Row yarn. She's no longer dying.
I thought she'd retired.
Yeah. But the color is iron oxide. So I mean, I like the colors too.
It looks like fall on your feet.
Yeah, for sure. So But anyway, I'm glad to have them off the needles. I mean, this is a much wimpier leg than I probably normally would make now. But I remember with the first one, by the time I reached that point, I was just over it. Like I wanted
Yeah.
it to be finished.
You
So
just
I'm glad that
done.
those are off the needles, and it'll be a
Yes.
long time before I choose a project like that again.
No offense to Sarah.
No, no, no. And
Because some
well,
people,
and I
that's
tell
their
you,
jam. Toe up
oh
and
yeah,
patterned is their jam. It's just not yours.
well, and also, um, it had been so long that the heel is a bootylicious heel, which I mean I liked, which I guess more or less is like a double gusset,
Yeah.
under on the bottom of the. So this is the first one that I did. What I'm trying to articulate here and failing at is that I could not remember how to do the heel the second time. Like you're probably not going to be able to tell, but this one looks more like a traditional gusset. Like this is the second one that I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But this is the first one, and it it almost doesn't quite. Like it's more like a wedge heel in here. I don't
Huh.
know what I did differently the first versus the second time, but the I think I
It's only been
misunderstood
5 years.
yeah, right. I think I misunderstood the directions the first time, and I mean, I did something that works, and I mean, it fits my foot fine.
Yeah.
But it's just I'll never forget which one was which, just because they're so off. But that's okay.
Also,
They're
they
off
have
the needles. That's the
anatomically
point.
correct toes.
Precisely. Right.
Yeah. There's also that. Unless your feet, grow weird.
Right. Opposite.
Could happen. Okay, well, my next one, this is the Snap Hat by Tin Can Knits. This is the 21-inch adult size, and this is for my 5-year-old because she inherited my giant head. So, this is her Valentine's present. And the thing about this pattern, you actually hold 4 strands of fingering together, or you can do 1 strand of DK and 2 strands of fingering, or 2 strands of fingering and 4 strands of lace. I cannot imagine managing 6 strands of yarn. That sounds like crazy pants making time. But so this is how you actually knit it, is you knit it with the right side out, but then you weave in all your ends on the right side and flip it inside out. So it's fast because you're not purling. The only place you purl is, in the brim, but you just change yarns as you go. And I just grabbed out a bunch of minis that were all in the same sort of color family from my stash and just use those. So, and then I've got, crazy pants pom pom tribble here. That's going to go on the top. So I'm excited about it.
She's gonna be thrilled.
She
She'll be
has been
excited.
wearing hats every single day to school, and she had a conniption on Tuesday because she was convinced that she had lost her hat, and she was like crying, and it was dramatic. And the teacher texted me, and she was like, "Is the hat at your house? Because I don't remember her seeing, I don't see her, I didn't see her come in a hat." And I've tried to tell her that, and she's told me that I'm obviously misremembering. And I was like, "No, her hat's in the car." And she was like, "Okay, I'm going to tell her that, but I may have to call you and have you tell her that."
Right, right. Verify that that's the truth.
And I'm like, "Oh my God," because I've warned her, don't lay your hat down on the playground outside. Somebody will take it, or you'll leave it there and you'll lose it. So some other class will come out, they'll find it. I said, the hat's handmade. I can't remake it, because it was like, it wasn't my yarn. So I couldn't, the one she had with her that day. Same thing with the mitts. I said, if you take the mitts off, you put the mitts directly into the pockets. You don't put the mitts anywhere else. And she's like, okay. Well, apparently she took that to heart, and she was tore up over that hat not being in her backpack. It was fine. It was here, but yeah, she
All's
was
well that
very
ends
upset.
well, but
Yeah,
yeah,
she was
I
just
can see where she
very
would be. Yeah.
extremely upset. She was very mad. So yeah, we dealt with that. But and then today she's like, "So where is my hat?" And I said, "Your hat's still in the car." And she's like, "Okay, I'll make sure I have it." And I said, "Okay, you do that." But yeah, she loves the hat. She loves the hat. She loves mitts. I need to make her some new mitts. I haven't made mitts for her in a bit. That needs to happen. I'll have to work on that.
Okay, so my very last finish is going to be no surprise. Those Advent Kirby Werby Advent 2019, the Christmas vacation socks. I finished
I love
those.
the color you picked for the heels
Um,
and the
yeah, it
ribbing.
worked out. I mean, of course, that's reading very blue, but it's purple.
It
That's
looks
not going to
purple
help.
here.
It's not
From
going to
here,
help. It
it
does
looks
it.
purple.
Okay. Yeah. Michael closed. He closed the curtain over there. It's fine. I don't need you to blind yourself. But anyway, that's probably not going to make any difference anyway. But anyway, whatever. Yeah. I'm not usually drawn to bright colors, but I like this pair. So
They're cute.
yeah. And I've got enough yarn left over that eventually I'm going to make my niece fingerless mitts with them. Like
Okay.
I can't remember. It's in my project page. I can't remember exactly how many yards this used, but I want to say it was like 55 grams or something like that. So I've got
Okay. You got plenty
almost
left.
almost a half skein.
Yeah, I had plenty left from mine when I used that one. I mean, her skeins are pretty generous. I mean, I was able to get Madeline and me a pair out of this year's Schitt's Creek. Well, not this year's, but 2020 Schitt's Creek. So yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And my foot's bigger than yours. So,
Yeah. Well, and I this is a 56 stitch sock.
yeah.
I haven't done a gauge swatch in a while, but it used to be that my I was 8 stitches to the inch with my socks.
I haven't checked mine in ages. I do know
Yeah.
that I'm on a 1.5 now. I started on
Hmm.
like a 2. It was like the 2 that's like the weird US only 2 that's like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
between the
like
metric
two and a
sizes.
half. Some of them
Yeah,
call it two
that's
and a
what I
half.
started knitting socks on, and then my gauge loosened up drastically a few years ago. So now
Mm.
I'm on a 1.5, but I like a 64 stitch sock. Like that's just the size that I make for myself. I make a 56 stitch sock for Madeline. That's what I use for her. But she does have Chris's big old peasant feet, so there's that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I guess this is my last one.
It's
Giant baby Cormo. So this is baby Cormo skein. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen that I have been working on this. I started this spin a unreasonably long time ago, and I finished the singles early last week, and I let it rest for as long as I was willing to let it sit there for. And then I thought I want to get this plied before we podcast, so I went ahead and plied it last night. It is a chain ply, and I did it on my Hanson, and it's still kind of damp, which is kind of gross to handle, to be honest. It's like it feels cold and clammy. It's pretty nasty, but it has that nice sheepy smell to it still. So this is 400 yards to 6 ounces. So it was not the yardage I was hoping for, but I could still get something quite decent out of this. And it's a very puffy yarn. So I think I could knit it at a sport or a DK gauge. I think it just depends on what I want to do with it. So I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to actually stretch it back out, and I'm going to hang on to it and let it finish drying. Of course, I'm going to rescan it to see if the yardage changed any, and then I'm going to make a decision on, like, do I want to dye this? Do I want to hang on to it till I have a project in mind and then dye it? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it's a beaut, Clark.
Yeah, well, the plying is very pretty on it. Like,
Thank
looks
you.
consistent and
Well, having
nice,
a
tidy.
Hanson, I mean, the one nice thing about the Hanson is it takes the speed element out of the equation. So then it's just you getting in the rhythm of making the loops and making them a consistent size so that it blocks out. And the other thing, I took a spinning class from Abby Frankemont at SAF many years ago. And the one thing that she said was whenever she's winding off of the bobbin, either onto a nitty knotty or onto a skein winder, she puts her lazy Kate as far as she can away from her and have it still be in a straight line, because as the yarn comes off the bobbin, if the twist is uneven anywhere, it will travel to the weak spots, so it balances your twist before you ever even put it in water.
That's so.
Yeah. So sorry you glitched out there just for a second.
Oh,
Yeah, it but anyway, so that's what I try to do. Like I try to take my lazy Kate and put it like down the hall but still in sight of my skein winder, because you don't want it going around the corner, because if it touches anything, that's going to be the point at which the twist stops moving. So you want to have it as far away in a straight line as you can. And she said she's done it like across the house before, like down the hall. So
I'll have to try that the next time. I don't know when I'll be playing again, but yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
yeah, it made a difference on this. I mean, especially since it was such a big skein, I wanted to try to see if I could get it as even as possible. And there are a couple of places where it's a little bit overplied, but I'd rather have slightly overplied than underplied, because I don't want it to fall apart, look yucky. So,
Yeah, makes sense.
all right. So what is your last one? You done? Oh yeah, you're done. Okay. That was it.
Yep.
That's all we had written down.
That's it for
Okay.
this time.
Well, incoming, you didn't write anything, but
Yeah.
I have a short sleeve tee that I want to start from Madeline. It's called the Shasta Daisy Tee, and it's in DK, and it's basically just a straight bodied sweater, and it has a little like daisy stitch on the sleeves. So it's really cute. They can wear it kind of like a little sleeved vest, with a long sleeve t-shirt underneath, which she could easily do, while it's still cooler, and then she can wear it by itself in the spring. So I just have to go through and find what yarn I want to use for it, because I've had that on the radar for a while. And I was going back and looking through some of my posts that I've saved on Instagram, and actually found where somebody had knit it. And I was like, that's what I want to make next. That's it right there.
There you go. Yeah. And if you start it soon-ish, then it'll be, seasonally appropriate when it's finished.
Exactly. I mean, I've got the other sweater that I started for her, but I haven't really done much with it. And I don't think I'll be able to get it done in time for her to wear it during this cold season. So I'm probably going to work on it this summer and have it ready for fall for school pictures.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
What kind? Have you decided what yarn you're?
No, not really. I mean, it uses DK, and Lord knows I have enough of that. So I'll probably just go through and look at my stash and see what I have. I mean, worst comes to worst, I could dye something if I wanted to, but I actually had somebody say something to me today about dyeing something, and this weather makes me very glad that I'm not dyeing yarn anymore, because this weather is the kind that used to absolutely kill my joints out there in the cold. And it takes it like, because I used to dye in my garage, it takes it like 2.5 hours to get up to like an actual comfortable temperature out there. And then God help if you open the garage door, because then all the heat escapes, and then it's cold again. You start over.
All the good.
Yeah. And then having to have my hands in water, and I'm still having some issues with my hands, which we can talk about in a minute. I'll probably talk about in Where the Wild Things Are, because I'll talk a little bit about what happened with my surgery. But I'm still having issues with my joints. So I definitely am glad I'm not out there right now. So I'm going to try, hopefully. I mean, I know I've got a bunch of DK up there. So hopefully just try to find something that I can use that I already have, ideally. So we'll see.
That makes sense.
Yes. So I don't really have, whoops, sorry, that's emails. I hate this. I kill the program, and it will turn itself back on anytime emails come through. It's irritating. I don't really have anything for Maker's Moment. I'm just, I'm still making cups. So
right, that's a given.
Yeah, I mean, I have this one sitting here. This one is going to be a peekaboo. I did this fun green, and then I'm going to go spray paint it some color. I haven't decided what. So then where the words and the decals are and all that will be this green. You'll see the green, and then it'll be another color on the top. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it's been sitting there for a few, like a week and a half, waiting for me to decide what I'm going to do. Honestly, it's been too windy for me to spray paint too much, because it tends to want to blow it back in my face.
Yeah,
that's
don't
unpleasant.
Want a mouthful of paint.
Or eyeballs full of paint either. Ugh. Not good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just cups. So I'm not even going to have that section in the show notes, because there's nothing really to talk about there.
Yeah, I haven't touched much of anything other than, knitting, spinning, cooking. Like Food. I have been doing a little bit of cooking. But yeah, other than that, Dana and I were talking, a couple, I think it was last week, and we were talking about, words of the year, because we really hadn't, committed to any word of the year yet. And I don't know, a couple weeks ago I was cooking, and it all of a sudden the word nourish popped into my mind, because I've been trying to be more intentional about sticking to a meal plan and making sure, because that's really the hardest part for me, is just not having a plan. And it gets to be 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you're like, well, what am I going to do for dinner? So having the plan of what I'm making, but also having the ingredients, try to do that on Sunday, so that my grocery trip on Monday is fruit.
I do mine on Saturday nights because I have my groceries delivered on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, same thing.
Yeah. There's certain things I just keep the ingredients for all the time, and as
Mhm.
soon as I use them, I go ahead and put them back on the
Yeah.
list again. Like chicken taco soup. That's like a standard here, and that's something that I always keep. The corn, the beans, the tomatoes, the onion, There for a long time I was really bad about never having an onion in my house, and now I almost overbuy onions.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's kind of that thing for me here is chili or spaghetti sauce, like, because it's easy to keep the diced tomatoes and the tomato paste and all that kind of stuff on hand.
I did one the other night that you guys might like. I don't know how you feel about Alfredo, but I did one the other night where I had a bag of tortellini, like the refrigerated kind. You use you boil the water. You boil the water. Go ahead and start prepping the tortellini. You brown a pan of hamburger meat, and then you drain the grease off. And then you do 1 jar of spaghetti sauce, 1 jar of Alfredo. Let it reduce a little bit because it's a little runny to start with. And then you put the tortellini in a baking dish, pour the sauce on the top, cover it in cheese, and bake it until the cheese is bubbly. And it was really easy and really good.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah,
it was delicious. That was like our big thing the other night.
That half and half sauce, kind of like
that. Yeah, they call that Rosatella at the Italian place we go to here in town, but I don't know if that's the actual name or if that's just what they call it. But yeah, they do that sauce, and it's my favorite with crusty dinner rolls. But yeah, that was a big hit, and anything that I can make that both the kid and the husband will eat multiple helpings of with no complaint, I just put that in my regular rotation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, other than cooking, I don't have anything else I've been doing.
Yeah, it's mainly just been cooking for me too. And then we now have our regular Taco Tuesday place. So we're supporting a local business. And it's actually going to be my lunch when we get done. I'm going to go downstairs and eat the leftovers because he's not touched it, and it's Thursday, so it's now officially mine. Yes.
Right. You've had your chance, Buster.
Yes, I gave you your shot, brother. All right, so tell me about this book series you've been reading, because we've not talked about this one.
Yeah, I finished up. I don't remember. Like, I'm caught up on all the other series that I had come across. And well, okay, that's not true. There's one I've been listening to that is a coffee house kind of cozy mystery one, but I haven't decided. It's just finished the 3rd book in the series, and 3rd or 4th. I haven't decided if I'm going to continue on. This wasn't really a thing in the 1st and 2nd books, so I'm tempted to keep on with it just to see if it's going to continue or not. I'm willing to keep giving it a shot until it really just makes me angry and I stop altogether. But the point of me reading is not to stress me out, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I need to step away for a while is what I'm telling you. So.
That's how I felt about that one. It was the one that we talked about on the episode we did together back right after the retreat, and it was the one with like the graveyard mysteries or whatever. The one where the girl was an undertaker.
Oh, I do remember that now, but I don't remember what the series was.
She made me mad because she was deliberately helpless. And I don't like that in a heroine. I'm like, no, own your power, lady. Like, don't sit there and pretend to be stupid. I don't like people that pretend to be stupid or pretend that they have absolutely no control over anything. Like, those two things are just peeves. I just can't stand them. So,
yeah. So
I've quit mysteries over that before.
So I was really excited to come across this series that has, I believe, like 30 books in this series. So, but it's I know.
Is it Hoopla?
It's Hoopla. Yes. And it's British. And it is kind of a period piece in that it's the late 1800s. So they don't really talk.
So we're Victorian.
Yes. Like the one I'm listening to right now, they're getting ready to talk about Victoria's Jubilee. So, but you don't get a whole lot of context of the time so far. But I am the third or fourth book in now on that one. But okay, it's called the Mrs. Jeffries series.
I love it.
Mrs. Jeffries Mysteries. Emily Brightwell is the author, and I want to say they started in the early 1990s. So, and
man, that's a long runner.
So yeah, when I reach the end of this series, it'll be the end.
Well, yeah, I hope it comes to a satisfactory conclusion. That's going to be awful if it doesn't.
But it's really fun. So far it's had the same author. I haven't looked ahead to see if it carried. I mean, not author, narrator. I don't know if the same narrator closed all the way through, but I hope so, because that can make or break a book. But
yeah, definitely.
The premise is that the household staff helps the master of the house, the chief, I think it's chief inspector, but anyway, the inspector, to solve mysteries. Like he's not incapable, but he doesn't always see everything, and so they have to find a way to make him think that it's his idea, or without
like most marriages, you have to make it think it's their idea.
And so they go and do all this inspecting behind his back, and it's a little bit comical too, and so it's just been a lot of fun, and it's been great to find something else to jump into. So I'm loading up my phone ahead of this road trip so that I can have lots to listen to.
He doesn't make you sit there and talk to him, because like Chris won't let me listen to a book. He makes me talk to him the whole time. He's like, no, you don't get to like zone out and make me drive.
No, well, I wouldn't, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be allowed to drive, but he would not want me to drive, like, because he doesn't know what to do with himself otherwise. Like, it would drive him crazy.
He's not a knitter. He doesn't read. Yeah, right. I get it.
Yeah. So he does the driving and I do the knitting. But no, I mean, I try to interact with him, every so often. Honestly, I think he would appreciate it if I'd put the knitting down for a while and just hold his hand, because he has made that comment before that he kind of misses that about road trips. They haven't been like that the last 11 years.
Be like, you can have your hand on my elbow while I knit.
Right.
Like, I don't criticize his driving when I'm knitting. So I think that's when he usually is like, yeah, it's worth it. Just let her knit. I have now finished all of the High Society Lady Detective books, which I finished the last one last night. Unless there's more that are not showing up on Goodreads or in Hoopla, it's possible.
That could be possible,
because stuff shows up in weird order sometimes. And then I also did I've read all but one of the On the Run international mystery books, because there's one that is not available on Hoopla. So and both of those series are by Sarah Rosette, and Tiffany introduced me to those. So I'm getting ready to start the We Are Legion books by Dennis E. Taylor. And the premise of these books, and my husband is on book 3, so he's very far ahead of me at this point. My friend who's the dad of the baby that's about to be born, he recommended these because he knows what kind of books Chris and I like. And his wife is just not into sci-fi at all. So he's like thrilled that he has friends now that are like really into sci-fi books, because now he's going to start recommending all this stuff. I just can feel it. So basically this guy like has a business, and he is just like super wealthy. He just sold his business. He sold his shares in his business. And it's kind of like, it's bigger than Amazon in this fictional world. And he sells himself out, and all of his partners also sell out, like his minority partners. So they sell the business to this big thing. So he's just flush with cash. He has a good life. He has everything he needs. He doesn't know what else he wants. So he decides he's going to pay ahead of time to have himself cryogenically frozen. So right after he does this, apparently, and this is as far as I know where it goes, he either gets hit by a bus or a car or something right afterward, and they have to go ahead and freeze him. Well, when they awaken his consciousness, they have cloned him. Oh, and there are lots and lots and lots of him, and his name is Bob. So there are lots of Bobs. and his consciousness is like super smart, like his real life consciousness was. And the earth has pretty much been used up, so they have to take this fleet of spaceships and go find somewhere to settle, because they can't live on the earth anymore. It's all used up and it's dangerous. So the series is informally called the Bobiverse, which just makes me laugh so hard. But Audible has all of them, and Chris has already used all but one of our credits. And we had a stockpile of credits because I had him listening to backlog stuff in the library for a while, like books that I thought he would like that I listened to a long time ago. Because I started listening to stuff, like I think I got an Audible account in 2009, and he didn't start listening to Audible books until like the end of 2018. So he's very new to our library. There's hundreds of books in there he's not heard yet. So I've been going through and picking and choosing. So now Ben recommended this series. So now he is like addicted to these books. And he said like it's kind of scary, some of the stuff that the guy wakes up to. Like it's really like dystopian and kind of disturbing, but then it gets better once they leave Earth. So but anyway, so Chris really is enjoying this book. So Chris recommends them. I haven't actually read any of them yet, but he said, oh, you're going to love these books. So that's what I'm going to read next. And there's a lot of them. I think there's like 7 or 8.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
And they're all available on Audible. So, but I have a feeling like, I mean, it is, we've got until the 10th till we get 2 new credits. And that's only going to put him through the end of book 5. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to buy him credits for Valentine's Day.
Right. Here you go.
Have some books.
Probably love that. That's perfect. Yeah. At least you won't have to question this year, like, what do I get him?
Exactly. Well, we don't normally do anything at all, but yeah, who knows? I probably won't get anything. I guess I'm buying myself Bobiverse books in addition. That's about how
that's what 9 years of marriage will get you, right?
I know, golly. Yeah, 9 years of marriage, 14 years together. That's about how that works. Is there's like, I'll just do something. I don't know. Yeah, we used to go eat Indian food on Valentine's Day because nobody was there. Because everybody went to like the fancy steak and seafood places, and we were like, Indian or Thai. This year would probably be Korean. I'm all about that.
Right.
I'd have that right now if somebody delivered it to my house. All right. So yeah, awesome. We've been covering lots of books. You need to get on Goodreads.
I am on Goodreads. I have an account, and yeah, I don't know. I thought that it would be a good way to find books. And maybe it is a good way to find books.
It is. It is. It will recommend books based off of books that you've liked and reviewed. It'll start recommending books that are similar. So
likewise. Okay.
Yeah, but you have to be good about reviewing books, and that's what I'm not good about. I will just mark it as read and be done with it.
Yeah, that's kind of the few I've listed. That's what I've done.
Yeah, but I like it for the reading goals for the year, because this year I want to read 60 books for the year, and I think I'm at 8 or 9 already. So I'm a little ahead of the game, but I'm figuring at some point I'm going to fall into something that's a very, very big book, and it's going to take me a few weeks to get it done. Right. And so these quicker, smaller books are going to help make up the difference.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So what's on your nails?
Okay. I was telling Dana that I let my husband pick the color because, I was at a little bit of analysis paralysis kind of thing. I've got so many to choose from. And I felt like I'd been picking the same ones over and over. So I just handed him my big stack last night and I asked him, pull one for me, whatever you think. Well, I was telling her that he's not really on board with glitter for some crazy reason. There's some deficiency in him. So he chose this, which is not, I mean, Dana, look at the way that's showing up. You know very well that's not Los Angeles.
No, it's like, imagine that 4 shades brighter than that.
It's not going to show. No matter what I do.
Because that looks like bubblegum pink. It's washing it out because it is like eye-searing hot pink.
It is. So yeah, but that's and then the glitzy nail is for
your favorite.
My favorite. It is. So, and then I'm going to put polka.com on top of it. So
that's going to be so cute.
Yeah. I saw that on Pinterest and I was like, okay, there it is right there, because it's a solid, so it's a little bit thinner. So I need something else on top of it. Since I did double layer, just so that it'll have longevity.
Yes.
But yeah, when I showed him, he kind of got a flash earlier when I went outside to talk to him, and he was like, see, that looks good. And then he says, he didn't do anything extra. And I held my hand up and he saw the glitz and he was like, oh, I knew it. So anyway.
Wait till you have polka dots all over.
I know. So anyway, yeah, so it's nice and bright. And I said, well, it's it's pink for Valentine's Day.
It is. I actually went Art Deco in honor of the last High Society Lady Detective book, because it's set in 1923. The last one is. So this is called Drop the Ball. This was part of the Christmas and holiday collection for this year. But it is super graphic. Deco. I was waiting for my nails to be long enough to really do it justice. And then of course I broke my thumbnail, but this one you can see a little bit more. It's a little bit fancier on that one, but I love Art Deco stuff anyway. So I'm a really big fan of this one. I've left it on, this is 5 or 6 days. So I'll probably go ahead and change it tonight. I'll try not to leave mine on longer than that, just because, my hands are really dry right now because of the weather, and I like to take it off and do a hot oil treatment on my fingernails and really moisturize, and then give them some time to be naked, and then put a new set on, just to make sure that my nails stay nice and healthy and that I don't end up with hangnails everywhere, because that was a problem a couple of weeks ago. So yep, that's what I'm wearing right now. And then I've got Chilean Cool on my feet, on my toes.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I cut my toenails off like way short, like probably shorter than I should have, because they were almost uncomfortable. So, but it had been so long, I hadn't had a pedicure because I haven't felt safe to go get one. So I was like, well, guess I better buckle down and do
right,
this.
You got to do something.
Well, I'd had on holidays from the holiday collection for 11 weeks. Whoa. On my toes, and they still looked great. They were fine. Yeah. But I was like, I'm tired of looking at this. I don't want black toenails anymore. I want pink toenails. So we went for the pink. So nice. So you guys are leaving to go out of town
tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., which is not quite as early as what I was
about to say. You told me 3 the other day.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. But he dictated the leaving time, which, I mean, we'll gain, and we're going into Central Time, so we'll gain an hour. And there's no specific time that he works until 9. Anyway, we're going to see my oldest son in the Nashville area, and so we're gonna stop and eat at a restaurant in Pigeon Forge. Because I found out that there's the one in Gatlinburg, but there is one in Pigeon Forge. So
that one's the one that burned. Oh, and then they had to rebuild it. One of them burned. Yeah.
So we're going.
I think it was the Pigeon Forge one that burned, even though it would have made more sense if it was the Gatlinburg one because of the fire. But I'm pretty sure it was Pigeon Forge.
Well, I just, they gave us toothpicks when we left there. So that's the only thing that I, like how I knew the name of it, because for some reason I had it as Logan's Steakhouse, and I was like, I don't think that's right. So I pulled out
We have Logan's here.
Yeah. Brendan told me the same thing. He says, no, we've got that here too. And I said, well, maybe it is a chain, but when I look, it's the Alamo Steakhouse. So I was excited to see. I mean, I didn't mind going to Gatlinburg, but I'm like, well, Pigeon Forge is closer.
If you can avoid that time suck. I mean,
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're gonna stop there for lunch. If we leave here at 5 a.m., that should put us there at 12:30, I think, or something like it's like 7.5
Yeah.
hours from here, something like
Good.
that. So yeah, it'll be
Well, I
good.
know the
And then
northeast portion of the state has snow, so y'all be
oh,
careful
okay,
because
okay.
mom got snow.
Oh wow.
Yep. Because she's been
Hmm.
driving my aunt's vehicle because my aunt's got 4-wheel drive and my mom doesn't.
Well,
So
Michael's friend that lives in Rogersville, I think that's where he lives. He had talked to him yesterday, but
I thought he
he had
lived in
taken.
Rutledge.
No, I know it's not Rutledge for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was Rogersville. I
Must
don't
be
know, but
Rutledgeville. There's a lot
um,
of R's up there.
okay, right. So anyway, yeah, he didn't mention anything about snow, but that's not to say that they didn't get it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
know it
our
was along the interstate coming out of Virginia. I do know that part.
okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that just going for the weekend. We're gonna be back. We're gonna leave Monday to come home, um, and kind of probably more or less just stick close to his place and visit with him. His best friend's gonna be there for the weekend too. She did decide to drive herself, so I think she needed to do it to prove to herself that she could. So
It's a long way.
um, yeah. So anyway, it's gonna be it'll be a nice getaway for the weekend.
I
And
think it's supposed to be fairly decent weather too. I think
yeah,
Saturday in
it had
particular was supposed to be
changed.
really nice.
Yeah, it was originally, it was going to be really cold Sunday evening, and then it changed to now it's going to be decent. Do you want
Some
to
of
say
it's small. Small, woman. What's that mean?
Mean.
she was serious. She was listening. That was her listening face.
My God, I look like she need a hug or something. Man.
Get out of here.
You're now on YouTube for all
I
time.
know. I told him. So yeah,
Oh,
so
goodness.
that's our plan. Just the two of us, gonna go and because our youngest decided to stay here and help his grandfather on the
He's
coast.
not a traveling man.
And he's not a traveler. He's not.
Not a traveling man.
So
No.
anyway, yeah.
Well,
So what's Madeline been up to?
oh my lord. So yesterday, well, been for the last little bit, she'd been bugging me about getting her hair cut. And then they're on 4-day a week in person, 1 day a week out right now for asynchronous learning. This week was that way. Next week will be that way. But they're hoping that the week of President's Day, they're going to full time with K through 5. So um so I said, well, do you want to go get your haircut Wednesday since we're going to be done early with school? She's like, okay. So I get her in the car and we've been talking about it. And she's like, I want my hair to here. And I said, no, you don't, because you can't pull it up and you want it out of your face because her hair goes straight down into her eyeballs. So I said, let's get it to your collarbone because as it dries, it's going to shrink up and then it'll be like right at the top of your shoulder. And she says, okay, we'll get her in there. And it's like a little kid hair salon, master required. They allow one customer per stylist. No, there's no waiting. You have to wait in your car, so that they're keeping everybody as far apart as possible. And I appreciate that because, we're trying to be really safe. So get her in there. And of course, she picks the seat that looks like an airplane that has are you talking?
I was talking to Michael. Sorry.
Okay. I
Yeah,
was like, are you talking
I'm
to
not
me?
hearing you if you're saying
I was
something.
like,
Yeah.
I was
No.
like, oh great. Sounds
He
done
asked me a
something.
question. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I put her in a little airplane chair and she immediately starts doing this number and she's like doing this with her head and all this crazy stuff. And the
She
woman
was
kept
driving the
cutting
plane.
pretty much. And she was like making sound effects and she was being wild. And the woman keeps getting it uneven. So she keeps cutting the other side to match. And then she'd go too high and she just keeps going. Kid ends up with like somewhere between 5 and 6 inches cut off her hair. And I mean, it's like to here. And I'm like, oh God. And we get out of there and she's like so excited. And then she takes a bath last night and she's in there with her dad and he puts this shampoo on her hand and she starts washing her hand. She's like, Daddy, my hair's gone. And he's like, yeah, it is. She's like, but I didn't tell her to cut this much off. And he said, your mom said you moved so much she didn't have a choice. And she was like, but my hair's all gone. And he's like, it's gonna grow back out, Bug. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do. And she's like, I didn't want my hair this short, so hopefully this was a lesson. And I've already told her that next time she's not allowed to sit in the airplane chair anymore. She has to sit in a regular
Right.
chair. Because I saw that, and I'm not supposed to lift her right now. And I also had to lift her and get her all the way up and into this thing, and oh, it hurt. So second part of my what's been happening, because I guess I'm a wild thing too. So I had surgery. I had surgery on January 8th. I had a loop recorder installed into my chest, which is a more permanent version of a Holter monitor to monitor my heart condition. And I had been originally informed that they were going to put it up next to my collarbone, like down about 2 inches from my collarbone. And it turned out they had to put it inside my breast instead. So the surgery was difficult. The doctor had difficulty getting it in. And I was very, very bruised. And I'm still sore, even though it's been almost a month. And then they gave me an antibiotic in post-op that I'm allergic to, and I had a massive anaphylactic reaction. And because it was a histamine flood, it's actually attacked my joints, and my fingers are really, really swollen and knobbly right now and painful. So it's been a much rougher recovery for something that really should have not been a big deal. Um, and hopefully it's going to help my cardiology team figure out what they need to do with my meds to get my heart rate down, because my heart rate's still very, very high. Yeah, it's been like 120 to 130 during the day, every single day, despite being on meds, and that's exhausting. That's like, doing cardio level for most people, and it's just living my life level for me. So, it kind of sucks, but yeah, it's gonna get better. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm just tired
Yeah,
all the
the
time right
process to
now.
get there. Yeah. It's not
Yeah,
getting
and to
easier.
avoid like a true surgery, like to avoid an ablation or
Mhm.
having to have a pacemaker put in, like that's what we're trying to avoid right now. So we're just hoping that this ends up being a positive step in that direction. But boy, howdy, it was expensive. It was expensive and it was painful. And it's just been like, wow, I hope this was the right thing to do. But we'll see. Okay, that's pretty much it for where the wild things are. Our craft along, the just finished it already craft along people have already been posting projects, and it's been really exciting to see people finish stuff up. So
Yeah,
it,
there's been
yeah,
several projects put up already, and still coming
yes,
in. You have
yes,
until the end of March for the first quarter entries.
yes.
So, pull out your UFOs and your whips and get them
Yes,
finished.
because I think most of us usually have some. I think we've had a couple of people say that
Hmm.
they don't normally, like, they're pretty monogamous and they get things done before they
Hmm.
move on. And those people are unicorns. Like, I've never been that kind of a knitter unless I get truly obsessed. And it also cannot be a very big project. So,
Hmm.
but if you want to know the details about it, there's Thread on Ravelry that has the full details. And our last episode detailed it as well. So you can watch that. But I'm excited to see everybody finish stuff up, and I'm looking forward to having a clean slate with some of the stuff that I'm working on too. So that'd be a good thing. All right, so our only announcement really this month is that February's Color Street charity is Domestic Violence Awareness. The strip is called 1 in 4, and it stands for 1 in 4 people will be a victim of domestic violence at some point in their life. And that does not necessarily mean physical violence, it can be abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, um, verbal abuse, those types of things as well. So they're going to be spending, get donating $150,000, $50,000 to Futures Without Violence, and $100,000 to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So any purchase of that set supports those two charities. So if you would like to go see it, it's really pretty. It is a neon purple glitter. It is so awesome. It's a great color.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with that one.
They really did. It's awesome. So if you would like to purchase that or any other sets, which we still have Valentine's and we're getting ready to have St. Patrick's Day very soon, I should think within the next week or two, then you can check out the show notes. There's a link. And that link goes to Tiffany's affiliate link for her party link. And that way you are helping her get some free nail polish by purchasing through that link.
I do appreciate that. I
Yes,
just
and it
closed
also
out my
helps me.
party. Yeah, it does,
Yes.
right? It benefits us both. And last month,
Yes.
yeah, I was just closed out a party and was able to get, I think I like 13 free sets, or I don't know,
Yep.
probably about 10 free sets, and then 3 at half price. But yeah,
Yep.
it was quite a few.
You got a
So thank
haul.
you to
They should hold you
anyone.
for a
I know.
couple weeks.
I'm gonna need to be changed every few days.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that mess. That's
No,
part
not
of the
at all.
beauty of it, is it's so
Right.
fast to do it. But if you haven't tried it yet, definitely ask for a free sample, because it's dry nail polish and it seriously takes 10 minutes to do your nails. It's really, really fast, and you can cut them with nail scissors and hole punches and make your own nail art and do all that kind of fun stuff too. And it's less expensive than going to the salon, and you're not going to get COVID from it. So there's that too.
There's that too. Hey, I didn't, you may have seen this already, but in the silhouette group on Facebook, somebody had cut out shapes with her silhouette from strips, like made her own nail art shapes.
I have seen that. I've seen people do that with a
Okay.
Cricut too. Yeah.
Okay. Like that would have never crossed my mind, but
Yep.
she
I
laid
mean,
out
that
the settings and everything.
I'm just not fabulous with the whole like lining things up absolutely like to the 1/4 inch on the mat. I would be afraid I would like misalign it, since strips are that big. I mean, that's a precision level that I don't know that I possess.
Yeah, I struggle with that, even with like pieces of scraps that are left over that are this big. Yeah.
Yes, they have to be on the line for me. But no, tag me in that post, because I want to see it. I want to see what she
Okay.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. I saved it because, yeah, I thought it was handy, and I mean, that way I don't have to invest a bunch of, die cut
Little, and you don't
machine
have to
or little
sit there and
stamps.
yeah, you don't have to also sit there and have a place to store them, because you already have your
True.
silhouettes.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it
Yep.
just, yeah. I don't know. That's why I love the sharing of ideas when it comes to crafty stuff like that.
Very much, very much. As long as the people are nice.
Yes. Well, and she was like, I asked, the dumb question, like, oh, that's perfect. Would you mind sharing your cut settings? Her immediate response was like, I created a graphic. And I was like, oh man, my bad. Like, but it wasn't in her original slew of pictures, because I'm thinking, oh, well, I just didn't click on all her pictures and I'm being that guy. Well, I wasn't being that guy. I don't know where she had created this graphic, but I would have never come across it if she hadn't included it in her response to me. So
well, and sometimes Facebook does fun stuff where they hide things too, especially if clicking the link takes somebody off of Facebook. They will deliberately bury that so that people don't leave Facebook, because they want you to stay there.
Yeah. We've got you. You're addicted.
Yeah. You're trapped. You're trapped. Oh my gosh, that's half my life, figuring out how to trick Facebook's algorithm. But anyway. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. And we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Next episode will be my birthday episode. Yay!
Party! Maybe we'll have cake.
Maybe we should each go get a cupcake, and we can have cupcakes together. That would be fun. I've already got my birthday cake picked out. My mother-in-law found this crazy cake that's like part cake, part ganache, part mousse.
Ooh. Oh.
And she buys the tiny one for us to have for dinner now. And I told her, I was like, don't buy it too often, because I want it to still be special. But that's going to be my birthday cake for this year. It's cookies and cream flavor too.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Excited about that. But all righty. Well, thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon, I guess.
Yeah. Take care. We'll see you around the interwebs, and,
yes.
Thanks for hanging in with us.
Sounds great. All right. Bye, Tiffany.
See ya.